Hi, I'm Nicolette.
And I'm Sean.
And welcome to the Graveyard Shhift.
In this podcast, we talk about true crime mysteries and the paranormal.
This is where we dig up new dirt on old stories that you may or may not have heard before.
We try to gather as many facts as possible and then put our own spin on what may have happened.
We don't gather all the facts, just enough to tell the story.
So if we've missed something important, let us know.
But don't be a dick about it. And please, keep your private detectiveness to yourself.
Other than that, kick back, relax, and welcome to the Graveyard Shhift.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey everybody, welcome to the Graveyard Shhift. I'm Nicolette.
And I'm Sean, and welcome to our show. Thank you for being with us here today, and thank you, David Oman, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much, all of you, for coming out here today and experiencing my house. It's very rare that I do interviews during the daytime, but apparently the spirits don't seem to find it discomforting at all, and there we go. Speak of the devil! Speak of the devil! My God, you guys are.
I was worried we wouldn't get any of the activity on camera, but apparently we are still getting activity as it.
They're ready.
I was going to say, okay. I was concerned the spirits are interrupting me, is what you're doing now.
Yes.
That's rude. Can I finish the sentence without being interrupted? No offense, please. And this is the K2 meter, and that's a REM pod. So I can explain to you guys.
Yes.
A REM pod?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind just explaining to our viewers what exactly this is, how it works.
The REM pod is based on the Ferriman theory, which is basically it's a large antenna attached to a audio amplifier. So it's basically, as you get close to the antenna, the signal develops and it basically sends a signal down to the little speakers and it starts to react. So an example is as you get closer, it starts to react. And the closer you get, so that gives you an idea. So if that goes to 4 lights and a high-pitched sound,
Something
is actually interacting with it at a very close proximity.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of activity with this so far in this past hour. It's been really something so far. Okay, well.
So being that we're on location at the David Oman house, we are about 150 to 200 feet away from where Sharon Tate, Abigail Folger, Jay Sebring,
Wojciech Frykowski.
Thank you, I keep forgetting his name. I'm so sorry.
And Stephen Parent.
And Stephen Parent.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, you have felt Wojciech's spirit here, as well as Jay Sebring and Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
How about Abigail? Has she been here?
I've only, in the entire 17 years I've lived here, I've only seen one apparition, and that apparition was, of course, of Jay Sebring.
That's
right.
Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, first I want to just say that, regarding your initial question, as far as Abigail is concerned, let me see, 2004, 15 years ago, on the 35th anniversary of the murders, we had the very first investigation here at the house. And that's actually precedes the Ghost Hunters show, Taps, airing, and originally the premiere episode was 3 months later. So on August 8th, 9th of 2004, we had brought over Rob Waldowski and his wife Ann, and they brought over some psychics to do an investigation here. I remember they came down here and somebody said, I can feel the presence, there's a woman here, and her name is Gibby. And I'm like, and she described Abigail Folger, and I was like, oh, God, so that's who that was here. It was exactly a month and a half earlier in mid-July that I saw the apparition of Jay in 2004. And we'll get back to that, but back to that incident on the anniversary investigation. Funny story. Rob got here, and we were setting up. He and I and Ann were talking, and so Ann and I and Rob went outside. And wow, you remember this story, don't you? You love this story. I know I don't tell it that often. Really, I don't, and I probably should, but it's a great story.
Yeah,
this is it's in the book, as a matter of fact. But so Alma, their psychic, comes walking into the house as Rob and I and Ann were walking outside. She comes in, and I said, as Rob introduced me, hi, I'm Alma. It's like, I'm David, nice to meet you. And I said, oh, do me a favor, have a seat on the chair on the dining room table, and we'll be right back. we were outside for 5 minutes discussing the shooting on the outside and coverage shots and walking down the drive. When we came back, I walked in and Bob walked in and Hen walked in and Alma looks at me. She goes, "Oh, I saw your girlfriend." And I'm like, okay. I said, what did she look like? And she goes, "Oh, she had long blonde hair, straight, shoulder length,
Wow.
5'6", cute girl. She was wearing a white dress, mid thigh.
Yeah.
She says that she had very shapely legs, and she walked around from the den, past the bar countertop, turned and looked at me and smiled, and then walked towards the staircase and walked downstairs."
Yes.
And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, "Because my girlfriend is 5'11", 6 foot, has long, dark, chestnut brown hair, middle of the back length." I said, "It is straight." I said, she isn't even here. I said, "She doesn't believe in ghosts." I said,
Right.
"There's nobody here that fits that description at all, Alma." I said, "Right now it's just me, Rob, and Ann, and that's it. Nobody else has arrived, and you're the first to arrive, and there's no one else in the house." And she goes, "No." She goes, "I saw what I saw." And I said, "Could you see?" And she goes, "No, she looked as plain as day, just as human as you, just solid as."
Wow.
And I said, and we walked through the house, and Alma said, "I don't see her anywhere." And Alma, this is the scoop. I told Rob to whoever he invites to the house to keep his lips shut and not tell them where they're going. So not tip the hand and say, "Oh, we're going to David Oman's house down the street from Sharon Tate's house."
Yeah.
So it was all kept on the down low, and nobody knew what was anything about this place. So, and remember, there had been no shows on the house, so nobody.
Right, so this
I
is
had done.
just-
This is just the first time I had ever had anyone here, and there was no publicity, no notoriety.
Just an authentic reaction to something that they were. Yeah.
And she was feeling it. It was like when she said that, and then we told her, I said, "Well, Alma," I said, "All right, we'll let this go." Because I said, "Rob, we're not telling her anything." And what we noticed is after that, Alma's demeanor started to become a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more, I don't want to say the word BIT8, but a little bit more snappy and a little bit more sharp. And I was like,
Yeah.
I had just met this woman,
Right.
and I'm thinking, God, when you walked in about 20 minutes ago, you were just having a fun old time. You were very, "Hi, I'm Alma," but she just, like, her demeanor just got sour.
Do you think maybe she got jumped?
And no,
Like,
Oh,
the
but-
spirit-
Some of the mics are just not coming out.
Really? Oh, don't say.
house on the big screen here. That's a
That would be
20-inch
awesome.
screen. HD, only 1080p, not 4K yet. Hello. By the way, is my mic working? So my mic's got to be still working.
Yeah.
It's the only one that was working the
Yeah.
whole time.
Your
Yeah.
mic is still working.
Oh, thanks, Spears, for
See-
telling me that.
They wouldn't shut you up.
Yeah, exactly.
They said they could try, but
Right.
my fork in my mouth, and I'm not aiming.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's time. Time for
All right.
dining with the spirits at the Oman House, indeed. Come on.
This is take 3.
Right. We
Take 3.
I'm not going to start over because we're going to use all of it.
Some of the stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you still use
absolutely.
these
Yeah.
stuff, so do it over, don't you?
No,
No, we'll do a little.
I'm not going to do anything
We'll do a
over.
reintro. We'll do a little reintro. Just kind of like, all right. roll.
Okay, so
All right. So are we back in action now after some unexplained technical difficulties right now? Or actually, are they unexplained?
yeah,
They're
well,
fairly well explained.
I'm pretty sure they are explained. My
But,
mic was not working,
Yeah.
and Sean's mic was not working, but David's mic was working
David's
the whole
mic
time.
was working the whole time.
Less than I, huh?
Yes. We've had mics working when they're turned off. We have had some strange things already. Okay. But
Yeah.
anyway, continuing.
And strange things still to this minute.
And that's
Thanks,
great,
Sarah.
and I love it.
Spirits. Um,
Okay, so you were talking about an apparition.
yes.
I was talking about Sharon Tate and Alma Carey's
Yes,
first
yes.
Right.
experience
The
here.
first experience. And you said Alma had her demeanor changed from
Yes.
the time
Right.
when she
Her
showed up.
demeanor
Yeah.
changed and got very aggressive and a little bit miffed. I was a little miffed and going, Rob, I don't know her, but am I crazy or does it seem like that the time... Wow. You remember that, don't you? All right, all right. And I said,
No.
Rob, her demeanor's gotten very aggressive and a little short, and she was like snappy. And he goes, yeah, I've noticed that. And I said, Ann, is that? And she goes, yeah, that's not normal for Alma. She's usually cheery and bright. And I said, I wonder if it has anything to do with where she is and that she doesn't. I said, And I said, you know something? I feel compelled to tell her where she is. I said, she's been here for a half hour, 45 minutes. And I said,
Yeah.
she hasn't been told. I said, I think there's been enough things that have happened with her that we can tell her where she is. And I said, Alma, I said, I just want to give you a heads up that we're about 150 feet down the driveway from where Sharon Tate's house stood. And she goes, oh my God. And I said, I had to say this to you because something about your demeanor and your personality has gotten a little bit short and a little bit crisp and aggressive and not pleasant. She goes, and it was almost like telling her that Sharon, it's like she went, oh my God.
Right.
She goes, that explains what I'm feeling. It's like, what? She goes, I'm feeling a little aggressive and a little bit tempered. Like something's pushing me and I'm not comfortable with it. And I don't like being in the dark. And I said, we've kept you in the dark since you walked through the door.
Wow.
We purposely didn't tell you where you were to see what your response would be from walking in the house.
Right.
And I said, apparently you were affected. She goes, yeah. I said, I'm generally not that way. And it's like, I will not, and I refuse to talk over your beeps. So I will stop when you beep to show you respect in hopes that you will show me the respect of not interrupting me in the middle of a sentence. That's not to say if it's not really important and you really want to,
chime in.
give us a heads up,
Yeah.
I will be
I agree.
happy to let you, but I'm in the middle of just saying something about Alma. Alma is not that important for you to react to. All right, fine. So then back a month earlier in the middle of July 2004, about 1:37 in the morning, I went to bed. And I remember this vividly because I put my head on the pillow and my eyes looked at the clock saying it's 1:37. And then I put my head on the pillow and I fell asleep. And it was weird. It was like I fell asleep within a second. And what felt like hours later, I woke up and my eyes popped. And I was like, what am I doing? It's like, I feel like I'm an hour's sleep for like 5-6 hours. And I look at the clock and it says 1:39. And I'm like,
Wow.
2 minutes? I said, that's not possible. And then I remember, for some reason, my eyes drifted towards the foot of the bed. And right off to the foot of the bed, about 3 feet off the corner of the bed, I see a guy, full-body guy, just standing there. And I'm like blinking, going, as I sit up in bed and I look, and he's just standing there. And I'll never forget, he is in shades of gray, meaning that I'm looking at him and it's pitch black in the room, and all of a sudden I just see this guy standing there.
Right.
And in art, when you're talking about where the source of light is it above? Is it casting a shadow on this part of the
Right.
face, or is it from below and it's casting shadows up, or is it coming straight and the shadows are this way? There was no source of the light. It was like, for lack of better words, like he was the source of light.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm looking at him, and he's a full body. He's not taller than normal. He's not normal. He's not a gargantuan.
Average height.
He's average height. He's not shorter than normal. He's not a midget. And I'm staring at him and thinking, what is going on here? Now, at the time, my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she was battling it. And when I woke up and saw this apparition, the first thing that popped into my head is, oh my God, my mom's dead, and this is an emissary ghost coming to tell me, a relative coming to tell me that my mom's passed away. And then the second thought, I said, well, if it's not my mom that this is about, maybe it's about Felicia, my girlfriend, who's a flight attendant with American Airlines, and she was flying through the European routes.
Right.
And I said, oh my God, I said, it's my mom or it's Felicia? It's my mom, it's Felicia that this is regarding. And the man's standing there, and his clothes, let's see, he had a short lapelled suit, and I mean short, like a 60s style suit. It had a short lapel, 4 buttons down. He was in a suit that was kind of, what was it? It was like a blue-gray suit. His tie was a dark blue-gray tie. He was wearing his shirt was kind of like a whitish gray. His hair was black, jet black gray. And I remember, like, my hair is straight. This guy's hair was kinked. I'm trying to look at who's got
interesting.
kinky hair. Nobody. Everybody's like, God, we all have straight hair. But this guy's hair was kind of coarsely kinked and parted to the side. And he had his left hand extended with his left index finger pointing. And he was making a quarter turn, like a little bit of a turn from the waist up. The body was moving. A little turn, maybe 6-7 inches to this side, and then back to point. And he did that 3 times. At the time, that was me, I thought that he was pointing towards the bottom of the driveway. And again, this is 15 years ago in 2004. And I kept saying, what do you want? What do you want? What are you here to tell me? He didn't say a word. His eyes were straight ahead, and it was just this, turn back, turn back, and then the third time he turned him back, and then just vanished. And I got up out of bed thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get a call in the morning at 8 o'clock. And I said, oh my gosh, reminds me of what happened to my godfather, who lived next door to my parents' house some 20 years earlier. And when he lived next door to my parents, he told me a story where in the middle of the night he woke up and he saw two amorphic energies. And he described them as such. He said one was about 4 feet long, and he was like what do you call it? Like a cucumber shape. He was about a foot and a half wide and about 4 feet. And on top of this kind of elongated form was an elongated type of on top of him, an elongated type of where the head would be like an elongated type of amorphic type of a formation there. And he goes, on the other side, next to him, was more of a ball, like a 3-foot diameter ball of light, and on top of it was another 1-foot diameter ball. And he goes, and they were hovering for the foot of his bed. Wow. And he said at that moment he remembers thinking of his aunt. I forgot her first name. And he says he knew at that moment that she had passed away. And these two spirits were there to give him the information that his aunt had passed away.
Wow.
He says the following morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, he gets a call from his cousin who's in the East Coast who said, Leonard. And he goes, yeah. He goes, and he said, Aunt such and such died. And the response from his cousin was, how did you know? I was just about to tell you that. And I was like, whoa. And so when I saw Jay at the foot of my bed, and it didn't register with me at the time that it was anybody that I'd ever seen before, but he was clear as a bell. He was there physically. And I was like, whoa. So I thought, it's my mom's passed. And, the following morning I called my mom at 8 o'clock and I said, Mom, how are you doing? She goes, I'm fine. How are you, honey? It's like, I'm fine. I'm fine, Mom. I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her.
Right. No.
Didn't want to freak. My mom didn't believe. Thank you. I know you didn't believe it, Mom, so I didn't tell you that at the time. I wasn't about to.
Yeah.
And I talked to a friend of mine who was psychic, who was a very, 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 very well-respected psychic. And I told her the story, and she goes, and this is what's funny, she says, she didn't tell me who it was, but she says, don't worry about what his actions were. This will all be revealed in the future. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, okay, if my mom didn't die, maybe the spirit was here to tell me my girlfriend who's flying through Europe with American Airlines had been killed. I waited for 3 days till I got a call from her out of the blue, and she goes, I said, hi, honey. Just like, oh, I've been sweating. I was thinking I've been sweating bullets for the past 3 days waiting to hear from the American Airlines. Is something happening for you or something? And it's like, I'm glad to hear from you. And nothing happened to her.
Oh, good.
Several months later, I went to the LAPD to do research on the book, which, believe it or not, I was going to write then, and I didn't get to finish it till this past year. And I asked permission to look at the files of the Sharon Tate murders. Yeah. So they said, for what purpose? I said, I'm writing a book. I lived there. They knew who the heck I was. And I said, I want to write a book, and I'm just looking for some source material to see if there's anything to corroborate with what I saw and what's going on here. So they get me into a room, and I look at the pictures. These are all, it says Tate LaBianca on the box. I go through all these pictures. Every single photograph was from the LaBianca house.
Oh, wow.
And this wasn't that big of a deal to get access to. And then when I was done after 3 hours reviewing all the photographs, I had to tell the what's the OCD? OCS, people there at the department saying these pictures were 100% related to the LaBianca murders. I said, I need to see the pictures of the Tate murders. Oh. Well, make a long story short, they had to go and find out where the file was. The file was in a box, locked in an old 1880s safe in Parker Center, where they keep things that are just too hot to handle, no matter how many years old they are, and they put them in there. So the evidence vault, as they called it, is this old 5 foot tall by 3 foot by 3 foot old-fashioned safe, which has got it's green, olive drab green with the gold paint on it.
Wow.
And they go into this room in the bowels of Parker Center, literally in the middle of the building, in this one little room, and they opened up the vault and the safe, and they pulled out the box, and it says Tate.
Wow.
And they put me in a room. This time they put me in a special small 4 foot. Yes, I'm telling you. Yeah. Thank you. They put me in this small little room. They made sure that I didn't, and at the time they didn't have cell phone cameras on the cell phones at the time.
Right.
So they made sure that I didn't have a camera with me. They stuck me in this room with a police officer to be there with me to make sure that I didn't try to steal any of the photographs or take any photographs of the photographs. So
Makes sense.
this is really top secret. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I'm looking through the pictures, and I'm flipping the pictures, and I'm seeing the pictures of the victims at the mortician's office on the slab, and it was just, to this day, it's burned in my memory, the photographs. And I asked him, I said, how come I've seen some of the pictures that look like they're sequentially out of order, they're missing from these photographs? And he says, well, by the way, there's one of the tourists across the canyon right there right now watching us. See that? They're stopping. They're looking across the canyon because you see that? There they go.
Yes.
Going,
Or are they walking away?
They're driving. They must have heard me call them out. So it's like, oh well, they feel
Exactly.
fingered.
That's really funny.
But what happened was, I flipped the picture and and I find this photograph. It's an 8x10, and it says, I said, oh my God. And the cop says, what? I said, nothing. I said, and I muttered under my breath. I said, that's the guy I saw in my bedroom 5 months ago. Holy! And I flipped the picture over. It says Jay Sebring with his natural hairstyle. Jay Sebring had naturally kinky hair.
Wow.
But because in the 60s the fad was straight hair.
Yeah.
My sister, who was a young, my sister.
Jay was
sister.
ahead of his time, apparently.
Well, here's how he was ahead of his time. Since there was an interest in people to get their hair coiffed with a straight hair look, the people that had kinky hair like Jay, he created a hair relaxant that he used on his own hair to make it straight.
Oh,
So it took the kinks out and made it straight. It's like a temporary permanent to get the straightening out on it. And I'm looking at the picture and I'm thinking, oh my God. And about 8 years after that, about 7 years ago, the property next door, which was for sale, got sold, and somebody bought it. And on every one of these houses is built the same way. They're built on a step foundation, which is if you have the slope of the hill, what you do is you sink caissons, which are 3 foot diameter or 2 foot diameter concrete piles into the ground, anchored into the bedrock, and then you pour the foundation on top of that, and then you build a step foundation to make the actual slope dissipate and disappear. So you have your foundation like this. It goes 3 foot, then it goes 3 foot down, then it goes 3 foot, then it goes where the name step comes in because it's like a bunch of steps.
Yeah.
And then you build your house on that. Well, that's not what they did on this 100-foot long piece of real estate here.
Right.
They went to the hillside and they said, oh, we don't want this hill. We don't want to build on the slope. We're going to build 30 caissons, put 30 caissons along the street level. Dad, is this you talking now that I'm talking about construction? Could be. My father was the designer builder of this house, so it might be him saying, yes, that's what we were talking about. They went 60 feet straight down from the edge of the street and took out the entire mountain, so that all this hill and all this earth going from one end to the other end was removed.
Wow.
I've never seen this before in my life, and I was...
Yeah.
The longer you do that, the more likely it is I'm going to lose my train of thought and blow it. So please...
Here's the thing. I hope that whoever that is talking into the microphone
Yes,
there.
I really hope so because anyway.
Well,
That would be amazing.
That's great, but I mean, we also have these 2 cameras in the house that'll
And they
also pick up, and they'll be able to.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
that would be
personally
great.
prefer video with audio with video, because that
me
way it's
too.
not like somebody's there talking and I can't see that they're making themselves obscured by talking into the mic. It's
Right.
like, that's why I have 2 cameras with microphones. It'll pick the stuff up to say, well, there was no one standing next to the microphone talking into it.
Sure.
But what happened was they literally removed around, I forgot how many metric tons of earth, but a huge amount of earth, and built the flat pad, and then built the house. The first 2 levels from the ground up were concrete.
Okay.
Excuse me. And I thought to myself, oh my God, Jay wasn't pointing towards the driveway. He was pointing towards the property 8 years before they started construction and really demolishing the hillside, because it had an effect on this house from the vibrations.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, what my friend told me 8 years ago when I saw Jay was absolutely positively accurate on the money. I'll find out in the future. It'll all make sense.
I just
And-
got chills.
And Jay's pointing towards that property. And what's interesting is that during the construction, I talked to some of the laborers one day about my house and stuff. And these guys are about 15 guys, all from South Latin America. And a week later, they came up to me and said, "Hey, David." Yeah, I said, "What?" He goes, "It happened." I said, "What happened?" He goes, we're on this driveway right near that tree where the slope starts to go down, and we had a 2.5-gallon igloo water bucket there.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, while we're having lunch, the water igloo basically tilted up the driveway and
Whoa.
all the water.
That's
was-
impossible.
I said, and they showed me what it was. I said, that thing, that's not possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it
No.
happened, but it doesn't make any sense because it's on the slope.
Exactly. The physics of it would just not.
Yep. Wow.
And then a couple months later, when the house was still being worked on, I had a party here, and some guest was on the balcony and looked over at the house and came running and said, "Hey, David," goes, "What gives with the house next door?" And the security guard. And it's like,
What?
what? What are you talking,
There's
security guard?
That's
And he goes,
weird.
"I'm on the balcony looking over there, and I see this light at about 4-foot height that's like a flashlight, I think." And it's making its way across.
More chills, by the way.
The gosh darn, the top floor. And I'm going, come here. And we went outside. I said, "Do you see a car in front of here that's a security car?" And he goes, "No." So I said, "You can see through that. You can see through the windows into the house." I said, "Do you see a security guard?" He goes, and we're walking the whole entire length of the house.
Sure.
And we're looking in. There's no furniture. And he goes, "I don't see a damn thing." I said, "Exactly." And he goes, "No, I saw this object." And I said, "I know what you say you saw.
Right.
And I believe you saw it. But it was no
It was not
security
a
guard."
flashlight,
He
it
was
security
like,
guard.
he goes, "I am freaked out." It's like,
Yeah. Wow.
so, I mean, that's the kind of stuff. And what's interesting is that when I think about Jay, the only other time I've had something strange happen it was about a year ago. And there's a video on YouTube where it says, unknown spirit voice talking to me saying, "I'm here." The night before, I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Jay," I was thinking to myself, "I haven't seen you in 12, 13 years, 14 years, whatever." It's like, "Why don't you come back and visit?" I said, "It's been so long." And in a sense, I'm joking.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
8 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. And I'm in bed, and I'm just sitting there, like, all right, I'm asleep, I'm going to stay in bed. And then all of a sudden, I heard a voice said, "I'm here."
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, I said, I think I heard something. I think I heard somebody say, "I'm here." So about 2 minutes later, I said, "All right, don't dismiss this. Let's look at the clock and see what time it is. I've got a camera in here. I don't have to worry."
Right.
Go back to bed. An hour plus later, I wake up and I go into the office. And I said, "Let's look up the camera and see what happened." And on the recording, not once, not twice, but 3 times, we have a man's voice say, "I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, you just.
I'm here." Clear as
Wow.
a bell.
Wow.
Then you hear the dog snoring, because Fiona snores like a hound, and it's like when people say, "Oh, you're snoring," it's like, no, that was the dog. Believe it or not, the dog snores terribly. I used to, I don't. And it was like 3 times you heard it, and it was as clear as a bell. It was just
Wow.
uncanny. By the way, where's your daughter?
She ran to go. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Scared. So it sounds like listen, there's energy that's not here. in the room. So it was strange as all can be, and I'm like, you know, it's great and dandy you're doing this, but interruptions. Remember, interruptions.
is-
At the end of a sentence, you can babble your asses off, but not until I finish my sentence or thought.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That's the dogs.
That would be my daughter with the dogs.
She's not in. Let's make sure she didn't let the cats out, though.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
forgot to tell her that I don't want the cats out because I want us to be totally unmolested.
Thank you, honey.
She's probably in the bedroom and in my bedroom playing with the kitties.
Oh, gosh, I hope not.
Doggies. I don't care. I just don't want the cats running around.
Right. Oh, poor Tommy, right?
No,
Yeah.
he'll be fine, won't he?
Yeah.
He'll be okay, right? Yes, he
This is-
will. What?
Oh, she was telling me not to move.
You're blocking the REM pod? Yeah.
Exactly. They're on.
Yeah, get out of my way.
I'm blown the hell away by
I
that thing going
know.
off. It doesn't do
This
that.
is amazing.
Like, it's amazing. It really is.
Like I said,
It's amazing during the day. You should see it in the evening.
Oh, I bet.
But that doesn't make
So-
any sense. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to you guys if it's the evening or day, does it? Because this is apparently the most active you've ever been, day or night.
Really?
With the REM pod,
Wow.
this many hours? No, this doesn't. Like
That's
I said, outside
awesome.
Wednesday when it was on for 4 minutes by itself, that's different. But oh yes, all right. I will get it.
Which?
They want me to show you the book that's inscribed by Sharon and the note that's inscribed by Sharon's mom.
Oh, yeah.
I mean by Sharon to her mom.
That would be great.
Okay.
What's going on? Is she in my bed? She was in the bedroom, right?
In the living room area?
No, she was standing at the stairs right here with the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam.
Oh,
Oh, that was
Okay.
interesting.
I
The
heard.
cat kept staring at the at your
Okay.
office.
Well, we just had 4
That
lights.
is, yeah, we just had 4 lights there. And
So-
this is,
My question then is,
Yeah.
because we heard like
Yeah.
walking or something.
Yes.
right.
So that wasn't my daughter or the cat.
Well, it could be your daughter. She's in the hallway because that's right there. That's the hallway right above us. This is
Okay.
my bedroom here. So it's possible, but it was pretty loud. And the cats usually, I thought that would have been the dogs because it was such a heavy
It was a heavy
sound.
step, yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the dogs, and they're on the top floor, I guess.
They're on the top.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Welcome to my world, kids. Welcome to my
Yeah,
world. What can I say? I don't have any
Well-
explanation for it. It's,
The list
you know,
of
things, yes.
things that have happened so
Oh,
far
my
just
goodness.
in our afternoon here is
Yeah.
pretty, wild and extensive.
Spectacular.
And spectacular is the word.
And
Yeah.
after we're done doing the actual podcast, we should do a live remote from here to promote the thing afterwards.
yeah.
to
Yeah.
Talk about because they said, "Out with it! Come on, you can speak.
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping you. Come on."
I don't know Morse code either, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I failed that in gosh darn Cub Scouts. So my point is that what were we just talking about?
Well, so you had this recording.
The recording of Jay's.
I'm here.
So
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
it's like I said, I put it up on YouTube, and it's crazy. Just it's like this. The characteristic of the EVP's correction, the disembodied voices, because electronic voice phenomena refers to Frank's box, Spirit box, Echovox, and stuff, because that's what it is. What I've captured are disembodied voices on these cameras,
Yeah.
on
Wow.
digital video cameras, on people's cell phones, just from interviewing and walking around the house. But the voices' characteristics is always like this. That's not what they're like. They're like this. Very breathy and right on top of the microphone, and they're whispery. So it was like Jay's voice was, "I'm here. I'm here. I'm here." And this past Wednesday night, we had the podcast, and
Yeah.
I had Leonard Fernandez from Cryptic Heartland from Kansas that was visiting. We had the REM pod there, and we were talking, and we're just doing an interview. And all of a sudden, he and I both stopped because I heard that because I heard it's a woman's voice. We played it back. There's a woman's voice. There's a voice chattering right on top of us. And then later on, we thought we heard a growl, and I said, "Well, it's got to be the dogs." And I looked and I said, "But there's Fiona sitting on the sofa chair, and Reggie's on the sofa, and both are curled up asleep." And he says, "No, I heard it." We replayed it, and you can hear this loud, low rumbling. And it was like, wow.
I'm actually hearing a man's voice.
Oh, that's the TV.
Is that the TV?
It is? I thought we turned it off.
No? It's on?
Okay.
Okay.
It is on. Okay.
Yeah, but I've got
Like
super
that,
sensitive hearing, and I would have
Yeah.
thought I would have heard that.
I'm hearing thumps.
I heard thumps, which,
It wouldn't be the first time that.
what? What did you hear?
Thought I heard a crying.
I heard
I
that.
did actually just hear that.
That
too.
wasn't the dog.
No,
No.
I just.
Can you go check on Jocelyn real quick?
Yeah, just to.
Make sure she's okay. But that didn't sound like a little girl's crying.
No,
That
it sounded like a
whimper,
woman.
Like a woman crying.
Yeah.
Sighing almost. Did you hear that?
Did you hear the sound?
Yeah, but
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Actually, hearing like somebody's like walking around.
In there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
That's normal for the house. I hate to say
Yeah.
the footsteps and stuff.
What
yeah.
it sounded like was like it was a woman crying, but it was like
Yeah.
like a whimpering, like you said.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I heard
That's
it.
not normal.
and-
I should have had your husband turn the television off if he's going
Yeah,
upstairs
just to make sure. Yeah, it's
to kill any false
Yeah.
positives.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's me again. Sorry.
that's fine.
So,
Okay,
if we
get
could
back to the-
rewind,
Sorry,
just
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the when the house was built?
Oh, yeah.
1999, is that right?
We bought the house in 1998.
90,
We didn't start construction until we bought it in January of 1999 and finished it in 2002 in September. August 30th was the final actually move-in date.
Was it already a house or was it like vacant
It
land?
was just a hillside.
Oh wow.
There was nothing here. Just like as if you look across the canyon, you see that it's nothing. Except they had improvements of 13 caissons and the rebar on top of it. So it was another $100,000 worth of improvements.
Okay. Did you choose it just because it was a good lot?
No,
a
it's
good property, or
$40,000. It was a
that sounds
steal.
like
No,
a
it was
steal.
100%
Did
a
nothing to do
steal.
with,
Nothing to do with wanting
interest
to.
in-
No, nothing to do with my interest in Sharon
Could you?
Tater,
Yeah,
the
okay,
curiosity.
Jocelyn heard it too, and I said,
You-
"Was that you?" And she said, "No, it was the floor below." She was
What? Oh my God.
Okay.
I
Wow.
interview you. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
That's
I-
important because
Yes.
you're the one that has no agenda, no reason to lie.
No.
You're a kid that's
Yeah.
just here for the first time. So, your perspective of this would be important because
Yes.
you're a unique individual to the rest of us.
Sure.
We're all adults, no offense.
Yeah.
We all were kids at one point.
Right.
So I'm not chastising you saying you're a kid. Oh, screw you. You're a kid. We all were. We all go through it.
Yeah.
And now we all wish we were kids again. So
Well-
it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
that's
enjoy
true.
it while you're a kid.
I still have my
No
childlike imagination.
responsibilities. I still have it. Crime it.
Well, which is why we believe in ghosts.
I just believe in ghosts because I don't think there's any other explanation.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but
there's
that's just
not.
it, because the thing is, and I guess I'll say this now. Like I am a believer, but I'm also
You're
approach
skeptic.
every situation with skepticism, just because I want to prove my own belief, in a real way. But the things that I've felt and experienced so far here today are things that I've like unparalleled in terms of the amount and
Frequency. Yeah, I was just going to say
Exactly, that's
frequency
the-
because,
and the feeling that I had just about a half hour or an hour ago when I was in this back room going to this back bathroom, I have only felt that once before, the rush and the energy. And when I felt that before, it was a situation of what I feel is the most authentic communication with a spirit that I've ever felt in my life. And so
Wow.
so I approach this with skepticism, even though I'm a believer. But this is unbelievable. Like,
No,
Yeah.
this is wild.
Yes.
What's going on here today?
That's
Yes.
insane.
So,
I'm actually wondering. Who are the spirits that are here? That's what I want to know, I guess.
well, what I've kind of surmised and kind of come up to the conclusion of is that you can't necessarily tell, but the odds are that if you're thinking you're going to come here and finding Sharon Tate, Jay Sebring, Abigail
Right.
Folger, and that's what most people are like, I want to see this, like one. And I come to this rational conclusion that if you don't have a direct connection to those people, you can be the world's greatest, biggest fan under the sun. But there's no reason on their end for motivating them to come visit upon you.
That's absolutely right.
Because
They don't know
there's
you
plenty
from
of people
anyone.
that you have and friends and relatives that have passed away. Each and every one of us has through the years
Yeah.
gained those kind of departed souls that have decided to hang around us and
Right.
visit us and be, as I call it, the cadre of spirits around each and every one of us. So that, and I've seen this in many occasions here at the house, that somebody comes in, I want to see this, I want to see that, and I'm going, well, you might have if you have some interaction, it might not be who you think it is, but it might be somebody that's directly connected to you.
Right.
Sure.
And during one of the seances we had in this room, one time, it's probably 7 years ago, We had Alma Carey was sitting here, and my friend Lily Caron Willis was sitting at that end. My two psychic friends, and there was a group of people here at the table, and we were all. They had three where the candles are. We had 3 digital recorders laying out there, and there was a person I recall videotaping the whole thing.
Okay.
And we didn't have the cameras in at the time because that was before the cameras were installed. And there's another tourist driving across the canyon there. There you see him. There they go. Another one. I'm going to come back here and look up the driveway. And when we were here talking, I said, in the middle of the seance, I said, stop the seance. And I raised the ire of both Alma and Lilia. And they go, no, we're not going to stop. And I said, don't tell me you're not going to stop it. It's my house and we have to stop the seance. And they said, why? And I said, because I heard a man's voice. I heard something. I said, I just heard something clear as a bell. I said, I don't want to spend an hour reviewing the footage of the tape and find that spot and say, oh, there it is.
Right.
I said, it's easier to review it right now on the spot.
Yeah.
So I said, fine, humor David, humor David. And it was like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. They picked up the first recording, they played it. And in the silence, you hear this man's voice go, let it go, mija. And I'm like, I told you I heard something. I was like, there's validation. I'm like, I told you. I said, play the second recorder. Play the second recorder. They played the second recorder. Let it go, mija. Same exact point in time.
Oh my God.
Later on, when they reviewed the video footage on the camera, it picked it up as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
The girl who was sitting I was sitting at this in the middle of the table. There's a girl right next to Lilia on that side, and she goes, that's my dad.
Oh,
He died of cancer 4 years ago, and I have not been able to go on with my life since he died.
that's so sad.
At the end of the night, she went up to me and she goes, I want to thank you so much for having me come here to the house. I said, I don't know why. I said, I felt that you should, you asked. And I said, yeah, come on over, please. And she goes, I didn't expect to have and get as much out of this evening as I did. I was kind of like thinking, oh, maybe this could help, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't serious. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And she says, I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I said, why is that? And she goes, because now I can know that my dad's okay and I can go on with my life and live my life to the fullest. And I
Wow.
said,
That's amazing.
and I said, you know something? It pointed out to me that everybody has a perception of what they want. And it runs into the thoughts of what the Rolling Stones said. You can't always get what you want.
No.
But if you try sometime,
Wait a
you get
minute.
what you need.
Wait a minute. So wait. So I'm getting.
That's a first for that's like confirmation of the statement. Right as I'm
Yes,
saying
exactly.
it, they
That's
breathed
a
it.
confirmation for
You will get
me
what you-
because my mom passed away 3 years ago of pancreatic cancer, and that's
Your
what
mom's
she.
pancreatic cancer?
Yes,
That's what she died
She
of 15
said
years ago.
that to me all the time. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's like people,
That was my mom, guys.
and the only time, well, she wants you to know that she's okay, that it's all part of the natural course and scope of our lives. That, at a certain point, people say, I don't want to live anymore because they're so old. It's like, no, they miss their friends. They're all alone on an island by themselves. They feel that, what am I going on for? I know the kids are going to be fine. I know my grandkids are going to be fine. I don't want to be in this situation where my body has basically left the ability to work as it once did, as I was come from familiar with. And I'm ready. And a lot of people get to that point and say, I'm ready to go. And it's like, you can't begrudge people who have lived a life where everything has been and they have done what they as much as they could do. Not everybody does everything on their bucket list, but they said, I'm ready to go. And I've heard that from people and said, and I used to be all upset at those people for saying that. I said, saying it's not for us to put ourselves into their shoes outside of the fact that we think that their lives are like our lives. And said, contrary to that, their experience is to the point where they don't want this anymore. And I don't feel that you can hold that against anyone that wants to depart and leave if they feel that desire.
Right.
Because that's not for you to judge. That's their life path. And for you to obstruct their path and their chosen desire to vacate their body and to move on is unfortunately part of human beings' control of other human beings. We all feel we know better than the person who's actually going through it.
Yeah.
God, thank you.
Thank
But the
you.
fact that they didn't interrupt me in the middle of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
That was so
I
nice.
so appreciate that
Yeah.
because it shows me that there's a conscious cognitive point of reference.
Yes.
You're
Thank
so
you.
good. You're so you guys make me just so pleased. I can't believe that I actually got through to you guys to make
know.
the adjustments, to not stop, but
That
to
was
have
awesome.
a little bit of respect so I can get my statement out without stopping me in the middle of a sentence. And I feel like I'm being interrupted. I have to shut the heck up and just let them talk.
Right.
So thank you so much.
Thank
You
you.
guys are
Yes,
so
thank
wonderful
you.
today. I'm just tickled pink. I'm so happy that they're here with us and they feel the connectivity here and the desire to
Yeah.
bring themselves to the forefront, which they've never done like this before. This is a rare occurrence, guys. I really want to make that clear to you that
Absolutely.
this doesn't happen.
No.
I've had many an interview here, and Bridget Marquardt, the Ghost Magnet's been here. And
Yes. Oh, I listened to
this
her
hasn't
podcast too.
happened.
So I have to say thank you, Mom, for being here, and I'm kind of wondering if she's excited to be here herself because she had the book Helter Skelter. She was very much into that whole era of things that were going on. So I wonder if
She lived it, is what I just heard.
She did. Yes, she
She's
sure
a few years
did.
older than I was, and
Yeah.
she knew a little bit more. She was a little bit more in touch with it because I was only a kid.
Oh,
when
yeah.
it happened. I was like 6 years old when it happened. So
Yep.
it was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was 9, I think.
oh wow,
Yeah,
oh wow.
yeah.
Well,
So
my
she was there.
prayers to you, your mom. Thank you for being here.
Her name is
Really-
Cheryl.
Cheryl, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and I'm sorry about that. You and my mom both, got struck down with pancreatic cancer. It was horrible. I know. Your mom's chiming in, saying, "Yeah, it was horrible. It was."
What's up with the dogs?
That's a first, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting all teary.
Yeah, that makes two of us. And I touched my mate. It is what it is. There's.
Yeah, I didn't know that your mom passed of pancreatic cancer.
Well, she
That's
died
not
of a heart
known.
attack while they were treating for the pancreatic
Oh,
cancer.
my
Apparently,
gosh.
pancreatic cancer medicine that they gave her, which pisses me off that the doctor later admitted it. Right, Ma? The
Yeah.
gosh on pancreatic cancer medicine has basically a corrosive effect upon the heart.
Oh my gosh.
And she had just been to the doctor the day that she died, the cardiologist, and they said, "You're fine." 3 hours later, she was in her bed sitting up, and she said I remember very clearly how she was posed. She was like this,
Oh my gosh.
and
That's
she had had a heart attack. She goes, "Call 911," and she was like this, and that's how she died, frozen in motion like this. And when I came to the house.
Wow.
15 years ago in March. It'll be 16 years ago in March. Yeah, Ma, I remember the 22nd, the day after spring. And then the same woman who told me about the day that I asked her about my mom dying with the psychic about Jay Sebring.
Yeah.
She goes, no. She goes, your mom will pass away sometime in spring.
Oh
And
wow.
didn't say what spring. Yeah, I know.
The dog keeps barking too, which is crazy.
What is it? Spring vernal? Was it the vernal equinox and the summer solstice? So it's the vernal equinox, which was the spring. First day of spring was on the 21st of March. The following day is the day she died. It's 10 minutes to 7 on the 22nd. And what's even more of a strange thing is that when she died, and I drove up there 15 minutes later, when my dad called me, and right after she had the heart attack and died, I drove over there. I remember driving down Sunset Boulevard from here and saying, God, there's stoplights are out. They said the street lamps are out. When I got to the house, the whole house was blacked out and was illuminated by candles. And I was like, what happened? He goes, I said, what happened to the power? And he goes, the second your mother died, all the power died in the house. And I said,
She sucked all the power.
Forget all the power. She zapped the power in West Los Angeles.
You guys hearing this?
5 hours. 5 hours till they fixed the gosh darn power up there. And
Wow.
it was all of West LA. And I was like, wow, Mom. Oh, by the way, Ixnay Sese, over there, you see somebody walking down the driveway.
Oh, I do. Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. It's not an apparition.
Wow.
It's a girl, too.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's Ariana. I'm kidding. It's not her. She's too tall. Ariana wouldn't be.
I'm not really a big fan of Ariana.
So what?
I'm not really a big fan of her.
Really? Oh, good. In that case, you lied. You lied, Mom.
I don't know.
You lied. She's smart. Oh, there you go, Mom.
The dog is really
Going nuts.
going nuts up there, yeah.
Do you think the dog sees people walking and is barking, or is there something else going on?
If the people drive up here and all that stuff, no, it's one of two things. It's either there's somebody at the front door, right on top of the front door, or it could be that there are deer in front of the house, which I saw them yesterday on the hill, or there are deer over there across the canyon. But usually,
I'm
the
hearing them
dogs-
bark over here, so
No, what you're hearing is the sound traveling down the third floor
Yeah.
stairwell, so they could be anywhere upstairs, and the sound is
really?
straight down into here.
oh, that's interesting.
I'm tempted to go up there, but I'm tempted not to. What, I have to take him out to the bathroom? Oh, but there's a reason to take him out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to take a break? Sure.
Yeah, we can take a break.
What was the last one?
So we're talking about
Somebody write down what I was talking
I
about.
heard 2 bangs on one of these walls.
When?
Does anybody have a
This
pen?
one or this one?
When?
'Cause I heard it was close, like 2 minutes ago.
2
I didn't
minutes
hear
ago.
anything.
And then I heard talking above.
I heard talking too.
Did you turn the television off, right? Well, there you go.
Wow.
Nothing. Again, you should be startled. It's like, okay, they're here, because they're not going to hurt you. They're just, they're spirits have better things to do than to travel thousands of light years
Yeah,
to
I
come
heard
visit
like
us.
somebody saying shh to one of the dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, that we've
Oh.
never heard the question silence.
Yeah.
Like, I had
That's
that twice.
funny.
It was silence.
Wow.
Really? Okay.
I heard
It's very proper.
Yeah, yeah, and I think just to talk about like the most significant encounters that you've had, and some of the things that just stick out. You've already told us a few,
Right.
here so far, but yeah, just some more of
Stories
the
of the
stories,
house. Oh, yeah.
stories about the house, and the spirits that you tend to either see or have some
Or interact
energy
with,
from,
right.
or yeah.
It's hard to say as far as people have asked me who specifically.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I'm like going, they don't wear name tags on their
True, that is
gowns.
it,
When they're
unless-
walking around going, oh, your name is, you're Jeff.
Wouldn't
Oh,
it be
nice to
nice-
meet you.
Like
Right.
a 10-year class reunion. Everybody wears the little name tags. It's like
They walk in, when you walk in the house, please check in and give us your name so we can give you a name tag so people will know who they're
Keep track of
talking
you.
to. Thank you.
That would be a
was all
funny
that easy.
concept.
That'd be a great thing for a TV show or a movie saying, yes, I live with ghosts. And says, how do you know who the hell you? So, well, I make sure each one walks in the house. The first thing I do is I give them a name tag. I write down the information, I give them a reference number, and then what people say, who was number 22? His name was Jeff. Oh, that was Jeff Conaway. That was Jeff Conaway. So it's like, yeah,
right.
he visits. God knows why, but yes, he visits.
Wow.
So not the
Interesting.
I'm kidding. I
I
just said Jeff Conaway. I'm thinking Jeff.
Just as a name.
Is it Jeff Conaway? Well, yeah, he is dead, isn't he? I guess he could be part of the troupe that's visiting here.
You never know,
The ghost acting troupe with Groucho
Exactly.
Marx, Rodney Dangerfield, and Jeff Conaway.
right?
And Conaway's going, what the hell am I in this goddamn crowd for? I don't hold up to Dangerfield and to Marx. Oh, God, no. Not even Karl Marx. Let's see what are some of the things that have happened. Well, I told you guys earlier about my friend Tregu who was in that room 4 years ago and had the experience where he said, oh, I was scratched. And we watched the video and his collar lifts up 2 inches in and he's trying to find a place to scratch that he couldn't reach. And
Yeah.
in the middle of his back, it's just a tiny little mark, just like a little touch. And going, okay, that's in the part of the back you couldn't reach with your hands. And he
Right.
goes, I didn't. I said, no, you couldn't. And then, like I said, I said, you asked for physical proof before you went in. He goes, how did you know? I said, let's just say somebody just told me, I heard the words, said, he asked for physical proof. Guess he got it. He was like, I guess I am. I said, yeah, and you had a snotty little attitude about it. He goes, yeah, I did. I was being a little bit of an I said, yes, you were being a little bit of an A. Yes. He goes, well, I said, arrogant is not something you can push around with spirits. They take
No.
it personally and say, hey,
Absolutely.
really? We don't exist, huh? Well, then what's this? Here's some physical on you proof. Well, outside of seeing Jay Sebring in the middle of the night, another incident that I personally was involved in would be about 2 a.m. a few years ago. I was going from the kitchen down into the living room. And when I took the steps going into the living room, took 2 steps down, as I did, I turned to my right and I saw the doorway to the bathroom and I saw light illuminating from underneath it. I was like, oh, darn it. I said, I forgot to turn off the bathroom light.
Yeah.
So
As
as I
you
take
would.
the step down, of course, I'm not trying to waste electricity. I took the step and my right foot hit the landing. And as I turned and looked at that door, I literally felt like I was walking into a door that wasn't there. Literally, it was like it popped, like pop up right in front of me. I was like, and I like recoiled back and I go, whoa! I said, what's that? And I blinked and it was gone. And then right as I did that, I put my hand out and it's like, well, there's where I saw that blockage. I said, but the doorway is another 2 feet past that area of blockage. So it wasn't the door that I was walking into. And it was almost like a reflex. Like you're walking in the darkness and you can feel something like there's a wall in front of you and you don't want to walk into it. So you recoil back saying, oh, I'm gonna bounce off that wall. Maybe I shouldn't walk so quickly. Right. And as I did, I was like, it's not there. And I went and I said, put my hand through and said, there's the door. I said, but there's where I felt this presence of this, like a doorway blocking me.
Wow.
I spent the next hour walking around the house going, okay, I don't know what to make of it, because it wasn't an apparition.
Right.
It felt like a doorway that just popped up right in front of me, and I just was about like, don't walk any further, you're going to run into the door. And then when I realized it wasn't where it was supposed to be, I was taken aback. And it was probably one of the few times where I was literally overstimulated from the experience and so curious that I couldn't wrap my fingers around it. And it wasn't like when I saw Jay Sebring, because again, the setup was my mom was dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. So when he appeared, it was like, oh, it's just a ghost here to tell me my mom's dying.
Right.
This was unusual because it wasn't an apparition. Like I said, it was a door or something
tangible. Yeah. It felt like a.
It's like when I went like this, it was an automatic reflex. It wasn't like I was walking. It's like, oh yes, oh there's a door. Watch out. It was like, whoa, and I blinked and it was gone. I was like.
Wow.
And what's funny about on that very spot is where Rick McCallum of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters said, there's a portal and right here. And it's right here. And I'm like going, that's what Rick said a few years earlier.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
It was strange.
Yeah. No, I've felt some interesting things since I've been here. And one of the things that I noticed and was remarkable to me is that at no point did it feel the least bit frightening, negative in
or
any way
oppressive
whatsoever.
Or anything like that.
It didn't feel like any kind of dark oppressive force. It felt very
warm,
positive, playful, maybe
very playful.
And so and I know that you've talked about some of the things that have happened, like the figurines being knocked over on the aquarium. Mm-hmm. Some of the other things that have been around, do you notice like this positive, playful sense of things?
Well, I'd have to say I've never noticed. I mean, I've experienced a lot of playful activity, but back to the beginning part of it, I have never, ever experienced anything dark, forbidding, foreboding, threatening, disconcerting, unpleasant, ill will, or any type of energy that would make you feel like, I don't like this. I don't want to be here. And I've been in places where I found out that terrible tragedies had befallen people, but in this house, no. Everything that you've expressed is 100% in line with what I'm saying and have experienced. And I'm just looking at your K2 meters going off.
Is it going off?
It was beeping off a few times.
That's interesting.
Which is interesting because,
and the
as
REM
I
pod's
said,
not going off now.
No, it isn't.
Give it time. Wait till we get back from break.
Back,
you know,
that's true.
Guys, we're back. We're shooting. Can you come back and visit? Your break's over. We're not doing lunch anymore. It's now time to come back to work.
That was weird. I felt like a knock on the floor.
That might have been me, actually.
Did you move something? Okay.
My foot. Right.
Do it again.
I think it was maybe this.
Yeah, but I would have heard it, and I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear it.
And I've got very sensitive hearing.
I felt it, and I heard
and I
it.
think I would have heard that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's interesting because what you felt, I don't think was that, because I would have heard that first and said, oh, it's him knocking.
Right, yeah.
But it's always been positive. I've had people that have come in. One experience when I was doing, I think it was my ghost story, the guy that was driving, because my car was incapacitated and they had the driver pick me up, was this college student kid, and he said that, fascinated by the paranormal, his acting coach he wanted to bring here. I said, who's your acting coach? He said, Steve Railsback. I almost went 3 shades of white at the moment he said that. I'm like, Steve Railsback. And it was instantaneous. I realized who that was. Steve Railsback is an actor who played Charles Manson in Helter Skelter.
Oh, holy
The original
cow.
television movie about
I didn't remember the
murders.
name, but I saw the movie.
You saw
Absolutely,
everybody-
sure.
I don't think I
It was
saw that.
1974.
Yeah,
and
but they replayed it now many. Yeah.
they play it all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And Railsback physically is the same height as Charles Manson.
Wow.
He is a method actor, so in his estimation, to get deep into the psyche of the person, since it was a real life person he was portraying, not that it matters to an actor, but the fact that he wanted to get into character, he immersed himself in everything Manson. And this is going back 5 years after the murders, not even. And it was shot 4 years after the murders, as a matter of fact, in 1973. So it's 3 years after the murders. And you watch that movie, and I've seen other movies about Manson and stuff, and none of them hold a candle to Steve Railsback's performance. He is riveting and you believe he's Charlie Manson.
Wow.
And when we came in the house to walk around the house afterwards, he goes, well, bring Steve to the house. I think it'd be cool. And I'm like, I said, yeah,
I don't know.
that's going to be interesting. I'm thinking to myself, God, I don't know. He said, gee, you're bringing an actor back that not only embodied Manson on film and on camera, but he looks like Manson. And
Yeah.
he really got into this thickly. And we walked in the house and I said, feels a little bit charged. We started
wonder why.
walking down the staircase from the second floor halfway down to the third level. And I'm not talking about our heads, but our bodies were still at the same, our heads were at the level of the second floor, excuse me. As we're walking down the staircase, and all of a sudden it was like energy just surrounded us, just started coming up from our legs. As each step we took down,
wow.
it was like a step deeper into this quicksand.
Yeah.
And the quicksand, when we got to the bottom, was all the way over our heads, and we were just immersed in this. How to describe it? Extremely hard, pervasive, invasive, suffocating energy. I mean, to the
Yeah.
point where it was just like, oh my God, it's like, it was just so much pressure around your head. It was like, And unlike today, we walked in here and it was just cramping. It was so distinctively in the air. It was just like, oh God, I said, and I said, we went through the entire floor and we went upstairs and I said to him, do you feel this energy? And he goes, oh yeah, it's pretty intense. And then I thought to myself, if it's intense, and this is the kid that's the student of Steve Railsback. Could you imagine how much more interestingly, insanely intense it's going to be if he comes in here?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, saying I can't deal with it. It's just too much. And it's one of the few times when I said, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going
Good
to
for
have him
you.
come over. I feel it's disrespectful. For some reason, it's hitting a nerve, and I don't need to trample on that nerve.
Not at all.
And he called me up several times afterwards through the months, to come to the house to visit. He wants to bring Steve. I want to David, come on. I want to bring Steve up there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not answering the phone. I can't. I just can't do it. I can't go there. I just felt like not a good idea.
No.
And that's one of the few times when it's been really noticeable and intense, to the point where it's like, saying if you dare do this, you're going to feel it, and it's going to be really painful and hard to overcome. And I said, no, I'm not going to play with that. That's okay. It's not worth it. It's of no consequence to me.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's what happened. Nothing.
Wow. Oh man. Yeah, I can't even imagine what Sharon would have done if that guy came into the house.
I think that was a good moment to trust your feelings, trust your instincts. Since
Absolutely.
you're here all the time, and you know, nobody, I would assume, knows better than you to how.
Even if they did, even somebody claiming to know better than me, I'm going to say, something, you might know what you know. I have to live with it.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's very true.
That's-
You're 5,000, 3,000 miles away giving me advice, and you're safe at home. And said, I have to put myself not only on that incident, but thereon, if this ends up flipping a switch that I can't flip off,
Right.
I'm now going to have to deal with this
All
for the
the time.
duration. I'm saying, I'm not going to do that. It's
No.
not smart to be an ass
No, not
towards
at all.
spirits.
No.
When did you get started? Or when did people start reaching out to you asking to visit the house,
Oh.
or when did you first allow people or invite people to?
Probably after the Ghost Hunter show in 2007 or 6. People saw it. Oh, I want to go to that house and such. And that's when Lisa Williams literally called me up out of the blue and got in touch with me. And she goes, I saw you on the Ghost. I think she sent me an email. She goes, I'm Lisa Williams. Saw you on Ghost Hunters. I very much would love to see your house. I'm like, Lisa Williams, the English psychic? I'm like, wow. I said, great. You know, I used to honestly feel that this floor was tremendous activity.
Yeah.
I have since rechecked that theory because I've had people here recently where we were on the top floor.
Yeah.
It was heavy pressure, and I said, wow, that's strange. I said, I don't recall a time when I've been on the top floor when it was so energetic. And then we came down here, and it was totally placid. And I go, that's really strange. I said, it's twisted up to down and down to up, where the top floor is active, but the bottom floor is completely a waste. No, nothing. And I was like, wow, that's
It's a switch.
that's interesting. And like I said, I can tell you stories of things that have happened on this floor and in that bathroom. My friend's wife was in there during a dinner party, and she was sitting there. I think she was just getting off the toilet, and both the faucets turned on full blast.
Oh my God.
She freaked.
I bet.
Freaked out. Ran out of the house, and that was the fourth time. It was the fourth time that it happened in the house, recorded.
Wow.
Happened for me twice. Happened for my friend Adam once. All right, Adam was the first one. All right, so first let me finish the story. So the story of her was she ran outside and spent the next 3 hours of the dinner party in her car in the backseat on her phone. Refused to go in the house and refuses to this day to come back.
Wow.
That was my birthday party. I want to say like 10 years ago, my friend Adam who was the first to have that incident take place, was in the top floor, ran into the bathroom, says, I gotta go to the bathroom, Yeah, go. Goes in the bathroom. 2 minutes later, he comes rushing out, and I'm like, what's the matter? He goes, well, I unzipped my fly, and I started going to the bathroom and taking a leak, and all of a sudden, I hear the sound of this. Coming from behind me, and I go, yeah. He goes, what? He goes, I look like this over my shoulders, I'm taking a leak, and I go, oh, shit. I said, wait. He goes, the hot and cold faucets are on full bore, just turned in. And I said, what did you do? He goes, I freaked out. I tried to finish peeing, and I zipped my zipper up, and I got the hell out of there.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God. And then I said, hey, spirits. I said, I appreciate you giving, Adam the ghost trick, but what about me? I said, I live here. I said, I'd appreciate it more than he would freak out. I said, I want to have it happen. I said, I appreciate you doing that for Adam. That's great, but come on. What are you hiding from me for? And literally, I think it was about 4 years later, I was in the kitchen, and I heard something coming from the bathroom. So I went into the bathroom, I looked, and both faucets were on. I'm going, oh, really? I said, we're going through a drought, and you have the audacity to turn the faucets on. I said, and not tell me? I said, if by happenstance I just ignored the sound and walked downstairs, that could have been going on for days because I didn't use the bathroom. And said, you guys have really got some nerve. I said, well, thanks for doing this. And it was the middle of the night when it happened, when I found it. Then about 7 years ago, I was in my bedroom. It was around 12:30 at night, and I looked at my tennis shoes, and they're white leather tennis shoes, and they're just gunked up with mud. I said, I got to clean these up. Take the washcloth, and I start wet it down, turn off the faucets, take a seat on the vanity next to the bathtub, and I'm sitting there cleaning off the shoes, cleaning off the dirt and the mud. And all of a sudden, I hear this. And my eyes drift up, and I look, and they're the faucets. They're both on. I'm going,
Thanks.
I said, well, thank you.
It's about time.
I said, how many years was it since you did Adam? And finally you got to, I know you did it the second time, but that doesn't count because I wasn't in the room and I didn't see it. I said, but this time, I said, that was the bomb. I said, I applaud you. I said, I'm so grateful. I said, I so appreciate it. And I said, but on a serious note, California's going through a hellacious drought. I want you to let go of the water gags. Really, I said, shut doors, open doors, lock the doors, do whatever you want, but don't play with the water anymore. They can't. It's getting expensive,
Right.
And like I said, a few years later, it happened to her in this bathroom, so it's happened on all 3 floors.
Yeah.
Wow.
In 3 different bathrooms, in 4 different incidents, and I was like, people just don't buy this stuff. And people say, "Didn't you have a camera?" It's like, not in the bathroom. I don't.
That would be a little
Privacy is
weird.
privacy, you know. I don't stalk
Yeah.
and I don't watch people go to the bathroom. But it's kind of funny when you think of it. It's like, wow, they really did it. It's like, yeah, they did it, and it was just crazy stuff. So to me, it's like, cool. I don't have any problem because trying to say to because it's this is the way I work in reverse psychology. If you tell them no, 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 it's theirs is yes, yes, yes.
Interesting.
If you accept it and you say, that's a cool trick, okay, they're like, it disarms them is what I just heard. In a sense, it puts them in a place where it's like, yeah, he's not going to jump out of his skin because we did something like that. And they realize, okay, so he's down with this. And it's like, yeah, I'm fine with this. I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. And it really doesn't. I just roll with the punches and say, well, so I got ghosts, so what? Better than having rats or mice or termites. And spirits, I just mentioned something very seriously. If there's gosh darn termites near this house, I want you to take them out like a gosh darn hitman.
Yeah, please. That would
Seriously,
be.
kill them, because Joseph next door had a problem with termites. I don't want that to happen here. And this house is a lot newer than that place, so he can have it. We don't need it. So keep this house clear of termites. I know the railings on the outside balcony, I know that. I mean the structure of the home, not the balcony railings. That's okay, I can replace those. I'm talking about the superstructure.
Yeah. Well, then in that case, if there are termites, then they
They're
won't have a
dead
place
meat.
to go.
They don't have a problem with the ants, because the ants come popping in the house every couple of years and going,
Oh, great.
oh, we're the uncles while you're at it. It's great. You're going to go make a mincemeat out of my kitchen? Thank you.
Well,
Very
So,
funny.
I know we're going to be wrapping up here.
Yes.
But I want you want to talk about your book a little
oh,
bit?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Like,
Let me get this unsolicited,
Yes.
this
a
plug
plug.
for this book.
Yes.
That's right. This is the book that I wrote called Ghosts of Cielo Drive. Yes, I'm reading it. Is that a problem? I haven't memorized. It looks
doesn't mean
more
you didn't have it
authentic, and I'm
memorized.
reading
Just
it.
kinda-
Ghosts of Cielo Drive. You want me to read it without the cue cards? Okay.
go on.
This is Ghosts of Cielo Drive, The Afterlife of Sharon Tate and the Other Spirits of the Oman House. It's my story, unabashed, without any spin. I don't get into the theories of what's going on, and people that have read it have said, I like it a lot. I can't put it down. I said, really? And they
That's amazing.
Yeah, because you don't get into the higher up theory of what's going on and why it's happening. You just tell the story straightforward without any agenda. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, it's just you telling your story. And the others that have actually had their incidents put in the stories that actually written, I said to them, look, don't give me theoretical BS. Just give me the straight and simple facts of what you experienced, because when you get into embellishing and talking about how this, that, and the other thing, it paints a picture that's more grandiose, and you're trying to build it up in a way. And I said, I don't have anything to build up in any way, shape, or form. What's happened here is so palpable and interesting, and in an organic fashion that when people read the book, they go, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking up here down to people. I'm talking with people to them at the same level, and it reads in a way that people go, oh, I didn't think. And people say, I never thought about things like that. And it's like, I know. Nobody does. And that's what I wanted to do with this book, was to be able to give people an inside track to conquering their fears without going down a religiosity path or a mythical path that they've been taught or they've heard or they've learned from different people that are quote-unquote paranormal celebrities.
Right.
Because for the most part, and I've met quite a few of them, they're not what you want to believe they are. And I know that lets a lot of people down and makes them feel like, but I saw it on the show.
Yeah.
As I've learned from the TV shows, it's a lot more entertainment than there is a lot of truth.
That's very
and they're
true.
not interested in the facts. I mean, I've tried to communicate them on these shows, because no, we don't want the facts. We want it to be dramatic. And they say, but it's more interesting. It's no, to us it's not. We want, and that's why I wrote the book, because I got tired of listening to everybody tell my story in a way that was inaccurate,
And bastardized.
or it was Zach Baggins. Your house is built on native ceremonial burial grounds. It's like, really?
What?
Really? The Native Americans were burying their dead in their hunting grounds, so that when the dead were rotting, that the smell was so fragrant that the wildlife, such as the wolves, the coyotes, the bobcats, the bears, the mountain lions, wouldn't simply have just said, I smell food. I
Yeah.
smell something that smells like food, and I love food.
in that?
And I got
Yeah.
a free meal, and it's somewhere in here. And they're going to zoom in on that grave, and they're going to dig it up. I don't care if it's
Yeah.
Of
6
course.
feet under. They didn't bury him in a
That's just logic.
in
That's
a
just simple.
hermetically sealed
Yeah.
box. They
Yeah,
just buried
exactly.
them in.
That's-
And so it's like, really, the
Yeah.
Native Americans were also building their their cemeteries or their burial grounds on the slope of a hillside too, so they could come there and make an easy trek to loan themselves down the slope of a hill with a couple of gosh darn ropes to rappel down the slope to get to their grave sites, right?
Yeah.
And I did the research and I said, God, they do have in the newspaper in 1925 this notice of they've discovered the remains of 3 Native Americans during construction of this thing. And I'm thinking, I'm looking through the historical records to find anything in the local newspapers about bones and people when they're doing the construction up here in the houses, even Valentino's house, Falcon Lair, which is on a beautiful bluff on the top of a hillside. You think they buried them there? No. And it would have been newsworthy that somebody would have covered the story and brought this to the attention of the public and said, hey, during the construction, remains were found at this location. Because in those days, there was no there was no Native American cultural center or group that was going to go after the people and say, you have to repatriate the ground and you can't build there. There was no politically correct attitudes whatsoever. If they found bones, it would have made a sensational story.
Yeah.
It would have been put into the news media and somebody would have been talking about it. But nowhere in any of the newspapers, with the exception of the occurrence of the 3 Native Americans who died at a battle 80 some odd years earlier in 1842, was it ever denoted that Native American bones were ever found here. And when he said that, I said, I don't find anything at all about that. That's a nice embellishment, and it's a nice play on Poltergeist, the original one where
right. Exactly.
you moved the headstones, but you left the bodies.
Yeah.
It's like, well, in this case, they didn't move the headstones because there weren't
there
any.
weren't.
But the
Yeah.
bodies were left, and they knew about it. It's like, no, that's just a hocus pocus theory.
Yeah.
That unfortunately people have gone, it's become so ingrained 35 years after it was made, 37 years after it was made, that Poltergeist now is construed as this is valid information
Right, sure.
for people to use. It's like, no, as a matter of fact, Barry worked on that movie, and Steven Spielberg doesn't believe in ghosts. He hated the fact that Barry was a real ghost investigator and was on
Shit's
set
running
to
around.
tell him about stuff. And Barry said to me, he goes, yeah, Steven doesn't believe in ghosts at all. So if you think that this movie was like the yardstick to measure all paranormal activity, it's like it was a movie, you dumb moron. Just like Jaws was another movie. Yes, E.T. was a movie, and I know E.T. Phone Home rings true to you, but it doesn't ring true at all because it's not.
Yeah.
E.T. was a character that was created out
He
of
was an
Steven-
animatronic.
Exactly, he was a
thing.
puppet for the most part. So the fact that people have gone to lengths to say that's like The Conjuring, oh, that's real, it's like The Conjuring is garbage, and no, it's not real. And you can ask people at Sony Pictures saying, no, we used their story and we bought the rights to the story, and then we basically ran roughshod on it and made it a dramatic piece of entertainment.
Yeah.
The first thing to say is it's entertainment. It is not factually based.
Right.
And
Also,
that's the problem.
did you hear stuff
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
floor?
I just
Because I
heard
saw.
that.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a dog, but
but no, I heard that here.
You-
but
did
there
you?
was a knocking here, and then,
There was a knocking.
Yeah, we heard it at the same time because I looked at you.
I looked at your face and you were like, there was something.
Here's
Yeah.
her. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we both heard. I'm like,
Yeah.
I go, I'm listening for this.
I hear this all the time.
Yeah, I heard that's what it's like, oh, come on.
All right.
Trying to get me to pay attention to that is like going, there's a mouse walking across the floor. Can you hear it? It's like, no. And if I could, would I pay attention? No. But we heard the mouse walking across the floor. It's like, welcome to my home. I've gotten so used to it. It's like, oh, come on, guys.
Hold her back. Okay.
That's the thing.
They're here. Why don't you guys ring up the REM pod
Yeah,
while you're
just
here? They'd
give
like
us-
to know, just to let them know that you really are
At
here
least
with
say
us.
goodbye because we've had such a nice
Yeah.
time visiting with you.
We
Just-
appreciate
What,
you.
we're not going to order dinner? Come on. You can watch the movie here if you guys
Oh,
like.
well, Jocelyn's playing
Jocelyn's
with the
playing
dogs.
with them, that's why they're playing
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's normal for them.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's
like,
them
"Ah."
running up around and jumping. And
Yeah.
she's having a field day, and they're having the
Oh,
best
yeah.
time of their life.
Oh, there's a kid here.
Daddy's not doing this. God help us. We got some fun time with somebody who's young and alive.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like they're not gonna come join us on the REM pod, even though they have been kind of chiming in on the K2. Yeah. But I want to say thank you so much for this
Oh,
interview
please.
and allowing us to be in your home and experience all the things that we've been experiencing, because
Truly,
it's just
it has been an
magical.
amazing experience, and it's been great meeting you.
I can only say one thing before you keep going. Is that
Yeah.
I'm only responsible for one thing, and that's opening the front door. Everything else has nothing to do with me. It's like, oh, you're responsible. It's like, the hell I am. You're going to give this, serve that up to me. It's like, David, I just got tripped going down the stairs. Like, you're going to blame me for that too, aren't you? Just like, tell them the story, by the way, before we go, about what happened when you were taking down the big case.
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
coming down the stairs. That's important.
Yeah. So as you guys were, you all were talking, and I went out to get all the equipment so we can film. I have this giant Tupperware case. I have a camera bag with the good camera on my back.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn, our daughter is in front. She's carrying a couple of the tripods, and we're walking down the stairs. And in certain areas, it's the triangle that is slightly moved to bank around the hall
Sure.
going down. So as I'm stepping, I feel most of my weight not on the stair except part of my heel, and I feel the heel start slipping of my shoe. And I'm carrying something that probably about a good 60 pounds in front of me. And so I feel myself going, I'm like, oh no. And Jocelyn's in front of me.
Uh-huh.
So all of a sudden, with the handle in the back of
The camera bag, backpack,
I
yeah.
feel that just kind of yanked me back.
Whoa.
And I'm like, okay. And Jocelyn said at the same time she felt like something was pushing her forward, not like pushing her down, but like
Hurry
pushing
up.
her forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was
that's
like,
interesting.
wow. And I turned around to see, like, was there someone there? Did Sean come up or something?
Yeah, weird.
Felt just like a
That's
hand pulled me back.
crazy. That's crazy. That was our producer and my husband, Robin, by the way. None of you can really see him, but we'll probably have him on
Catch
at
on
some
one
point.
of the cameras.
Well, if you
Right?
want, I really got
We
this
got
camera.
someone
Well, there's
I
that.
can cut away to that if you want to have that camera. And it's like,
Yeah.
that was just, that story was just wow. Because usually people say, somebody pushed me down the stairs. And it's like,
Well, that's if they
No,
don't
they
like
were-
you, I guess.
Exactly.
well, they want to let you know that they didn't, not forcefully enough to
Oh, okay.
hurt themselves, but enough to
but
say,
just a
hey,
little-
We're here.
we're here. I felt a hand on my back of my shoulder, just gently push. And it's like, that happens. The fact that they did the exact opposite
Like
with
looking
you,
out for
that's
you.
valid.
Yeah.
That's really important because they figured it's like, we're not going to let him get hurt.
Yeah.
No.
Right,
No,
no.
we got to shoot the two. Selfish as they are.
You come blazing in with cameras and everything, and like, hey, if you're here, do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
We're not going to
Well, they
boss
know that.
spirits around at all.
They can
Uh,
sense that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
tell someone if you meet them, like,
Hey, do this. Jump through the tube.
Can you push the ping pong ball for me?
Yeah,
And
prove
That
your
would be
existence.
horrible.
Can I prove my existence? No, I really can't.
Right, right.
I don't exist. I'm not real. I'm just ether.
Oh, again, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you
It's
guys
been a
for
pleasure.
coming.
Where can
Yes.
Right.
where they can-
So, yeah, where can we find your
Regarding the
book?
book, right now, the only place you can buy it is online at ghostsofcielodrive.com. That's right,
That's-
ghostsofcielodrive.com. Go get your copy. I will sign it for you and personally inscribe it to you.
And I'm going to get myself an inscribed copy for myself. You better
Indeed.
believe.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you guys
no,
ever want
definitely
to come
looking
back.
forward to reading this quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. If
Oh,
you want
we'll-
to come back, please,
Absolutely.
It's
I
not like
wanna-
you're coming across the country, which we've had people from New York,
Yeah.
from the UK.
That's insanity,
recently
but
from
cool.
Kansas. I've got some people coming from Northern California tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
What's it? I forgot his name, but they're coming out to see it. It's like, yeah, we're doing a show. It's like, yeah, fine, we're doing a live show here at the house. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's a hardship, and it's not like it's a problem. I don't, it doesn't put me off in any way, and the spirits seem to be quite amenable to it as well. For the first part of our evening, they were quite amenable. We decided to vacate. We took a break, and you guys felt it was a break. We didn't
I
wrap.
got bored.
It was just a break.
Yeah, we didn't even sign off
Going
yet.
breaks.
Oh, well. Well,
Yeah.
with that, we will sign off. And I want to say again, I'm Nicolette,
And I'm Sean.
and this is David Oman. And thank you for watching The Graveyard Shift.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you again for coming to the Oman House. Oh, yes, and of course, youtube.com/David Oman is my channel. It is free. There are no Patreons, so what you see you can get for free and watch and enjoy the videos. They're all 100% authentic. I
And
don't
they're-
fake anything.
They're really fun to watch, I have to say. So, yeah, tune into that and subscribe to his channel.
Please. Oh yeah, and Instagram, the Oman House, Twitter, goes to Cielo Dr. The underscore Oman1 is my other Twitter account. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
No,
That's perfect. Thank you
perfect.
so much.
Absolutely.
We want people to follow you.
Yeah.
We want everybody
I
to
don't want
follow
to be
you.
like Jim Jones, that will start drinking.
Oh no!
Not probably like that.
Kool-Aid, please. No, don't drink the Kool-Aid. I didn't serve it, and I
Follow
didn't make
David.
it. So please don't lay that at my feet.
Right.
Turkey, yes, I make the turkey. and I make wicked ribs.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, awesome. We'll have to come back for that
back for that,
barbecue.
yeah.
I didn't bring any ribs out of the freezer. Otherwise, we could have ribs right now.
All right, guys.
All right.
With that,
Thank you for
We'll
joining us on the Graveyard Shift.
see you in the graveyard. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.